Yep. Okay. On a brighter note, my new favorite character in the NFL, Jags head coach Liam Coen, was talked about Brian Thomas and how the pass game will run through him, and we heard from Coen.
He's so dynamic, being able to move him around, where you saw him at LSU maybe not do some of those things, right? Where he was mostly outside, running more linear routes, vertical post, some overs, and then the stop. So the ability for him to snap down, get in the slot, be able to run some of the choice routes, looky routes, and then, oh, by the way, you can throw him a screen and he can go do something with it. Our pass game will run through him, and super excited to get to work with him.
Duval. It's always weird when he doesn't say it. I don't like it.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Taking him in the first round. Screens, that's 1 point right there in fantasy.
Right.
That's a PPR point.
Lawrence did that math in his head.
That was nice.
And it took a great effort to do so.
PPR.
Took great effort to do so. That's one whole PPR point.
I think he's got to be a top 10 wide receiver, right, Colin?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, alpha wide receiver in an offense that in theory should be able to get him the football. Great play caller. I mean, we can make all the jokes we want about Liam Coen. He's a marvelous offensive mind. So, and the talent is insane. I mean, it's underrated. It's amazing he lasted as long as he did in last year's draft.
Final 6 games of last year, he was the second best wide receiver in fantasy football. And the fact that they're going to expand his route tree. It's not just going to be go routes, which, by the way, worked all the time last year. You know, but there's clearly a connection between him and Trevor Lawrence.
And Mac Jones.
Yeah. And Mac Jones. I mean, he's sort of quarterback proof. BTJ is, and so. You will win a trivia bet. Like, he finished third in the NFL in receiving yards. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like,
he also got screwed, but repeatedly by missed throws, by Jalen Ramsey mugging him in the end zone. He got screwed. He should have had more yards. He's going to be an absolute monster.
What do you think his odds will be for Offensive Player of the Year?
I imagine that he would open in the 40 to 1, 50 to 1 type of range.
Yep. I would play that too, a little bit.
I think based on just what Liam Coen said, that 87 receptions, that jumps up to 107. Just based on the fact that they'll move him around the offense like a Amon-Ra St. Brown, except more explosive, a true outside guy just moving him around. Yeah. I think you see more receptions out of him.
It's hard for me to get him into the first round, but I think he's a second rounder in fantasy drafts.
Right
and
there
overall
at the
fantasy
top
drafts. I think he's in the 10 to 15 range overall. Would be
Connor, how would you draft Neighbors, MHJ, and BTJ now that we have a year of data?
I would take Neighbors, BTJ, and then Marv.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy that we don't even have a Dunze.
What about McConculus? What about my boy McConculus?
The question is, would you take
He
McConkey
plays
over
for the
Roman
Chargers.
Dunze? And I think you would.
Probably. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. I think quickly things change.
Yeah,
I think the Neighbors BTJ debate will be one of the best ones this summer. And we don't know who the Giants quarterback is, so how do you?
Right.
Because it don't matter.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, he caught passes from.
That's the good
Tommy
thing about
DeVito.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Jones and whoever.
It can't get nothing but better from elite Neighbors,
Right.
so we good on that front.
Okay, Jags GM James Gladstone also spoke about Brenton Strange, said really excited about his ascension in year 2, and I think he'll have a part in the offense moving forward in a way we haven't seen yet. Matthew, do you think there is upside in this offense for Brenton Strange to carve out a starting tight end role in fantasy?
For sure. When Evan Ingram was out last year, Strange was kind of a thing. We talked about him a decent amount on Happy Hour as a waiver wire pickup. 4 career games with 5 or more targets. He averaged 12 fantasy points per game here. The path for Strange to get fantasy relevancy, though, is that Evan Ingram's no longer on the team. There's an opportunity. I think because of how they're maneuvering their roster and wanting to start over under Coen, my expectation is that both Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram will be released or potentially traded. But both guys, I think, will be out there, and so I think you'll see. Brian Thomas and Brenton Strange as kind of the leaders of this Jaguars passing attack. I don't know what they're going to do with Ridley as well. I do. Is Brenton Strange awesome? No, but is he going to be tight end 13?
Streamable?
I think he's a streamable tight end is what I would say. My off the top of my head ranks would be somewhere in that, again, kind of 10 to 15 range, probably tight end 13, 14, I could see something like that.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.